Hi, today we will be running our application in the external RAM of the board, and we will use the project in IAR, which we used before, with some modification. So let's start with the project. Okay, so we are back at the studio, so let's select the build option as DDRM. Okay, so we got a project. I got added some features from the RTC, so it will print also the current date time and some channels of the ADC. So let's quickly build the project. Okay, succeeded. Some minor warnings, nothing to worry about. Okay, so now let's first of all erase everything from the SD card, which I got, and now let's open up the folder with the project. Okay, examples and getting started, name of our board, build, explain board, and the external RAM. Okay, so we got our application code right here, compiled, and we copy it, and we will name it softpack. Okay, right now it won't be loaded into the external RAM, so we need a bootloader for this case. And for this I managed to generate one with the at91 bootstrap, and I got it located right here. So I got a few options, so boot from the micro SD and from the SD. So let's take the SD variant and let's copy this into our SD card. Okay, so let's plug out the SD card. Okay, and now I'm putting the card into the board. Okay, and now I'm resetting it. So the bootloader takes a little bit to load the program into the external RAM, but it does so. So now let's take a look at the terminal. Okay, so I got it selected, I'm opening. Okay, so you see the ADC printing, and also in the log you can see the date time being printed. So as you see, it works. Fine. So now let's take a look how to build the bootstrap yourself. Okay, so we got here the bootstrap GitHub page, and we see what we got here. So we have those devices supported by it, and in order to compile the at91 bootstrap yourself, you got to go to the ARM compiler, so GCC. So you got to download this, and you got to install it in a rather short path. So I installed it right here. So it's the drive, the folder without spaces, and in the bin folder you got programs for it. Okay, so once you got this installed, you have to go to the MSys2 page. You download it for Windows, install it. Once you got it, then you can just open the cmd. Okay, and you can, just like in the example, run the location of the install and msys. So I'm going to go there. So for me it was installed in C and msys 64. So I just copy this, go to the folder, so cd. Okay, so I'm in the folder now, and I got to invoke it. So, okay, one moment. Okay, so that looks a bit better. Okay, and let's type in msys2 shell cmd msys. Okay, so we got the command prompt for the msys, and in there you have to type in this option, this option. After this, you have to invoke a different command prompt. So it's like min gv64. So you got the command prompt open, and you got to type in something like export cross compile is, and the path to the executables which you got installed for the compiler. So for my case it will be something like this path. So for me this command will be looking like export bin C, and the path to the folder is GCC ARM 10 bin AB, and there is also this at the end. Okay, so that's for me. And now to compiling the AT91 bootstrap. So first things first, you have to go to the folder where you got it. So for me it's the C drive, and it's AT91 bootstrap. So I type in cd c AT91 bootstrap. Okay, I'm in the folder. So now let's take a look what we got. So you got an example right here, what you can build. So first of all, we clear the build inside the project. So we have to type in make hammer proper. And it clears the build. Okay, so now you have to type in what configuration you want of the AT91 bootstrap. So to know what we got, it's best to go to the folder, click configs, and see what you need. So as we go to the SAMA5D4 Xplained board, we got an example of user boot secure config. You can open it with a notepad, and we here see what options we got. You can modify them manually as you want, but also you can build a menu to configure it visually. So as we do, we have the option right here? Maybe, or maybe not. However, we can type in make menu config. To build this, you need an curses devlib to be installed. So to do this, you can simply with the line of pacman add the n curses dev something. It will tell you what you have to download. Okay, I got it done, so I'm just making the menu config. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it always takes a little bit more time. Okay, yeah, antivirus, right? Okay, so we got the options menu. You can select here the primary operation, so load next software, probably what you want to do. The product you're gonna use, so the SAMA5D4 clock signals, you can configure the clock. And the console debug, DRAM, you got to use the part number. Okay, and other options. So yeah, if you want to use the application which you build it in IAR, for example, for DRAM, external RAM, you have to use load something into RAM. So for example, if your application is less than 1 megabyte, so you can select this option, or you can just select this option for probably every application. So let's select it. Okay. After you got everything configured, you can go like save, go like OK, and you can just exit. Okay, after this, you can type in make save dev config. Okay, so now let's take a look what we got in the configurations. So we got the dev config right here. So that's what build it. Let's take a look. So we got the selected options right here. Okay, so you can just copy this. Let's go ahead and put this into the configs right there. Okay, so let's name it a bit different. Let's say dev config 1. Okay, so now let's build this solution, but first let's clean up the folder. So make mr proper, just making sure everything is clean. Now let's oh, this looks better. Okay, so now let's type in make. It was called dev config1. Okay. Okay, so you gotta rename it just like this. So, for example, I will call it okay, so I got already this existing. So let's call it different, like NF. So non-flash. Let's try to make it. Okay. Okay, so as you see, by providing the proper name and configuration, it does do the make. And now to build the bootstrap, you have to type in make again. So as you have the toolchain selected correctly, it does compile everything. And it tells you that it fits into the SRAM area. Now let's go ahead and see the file. We got builded, so it's in the build folder in the binaries. So you got this as the bootstrap. Okay, but now let's go to the valid configuration, which I got. So the configuration for booting from the SD card 1, the one below, is this. And let's take a look what we got here. So we got the target, you got load 1 megabyte, the clocks, and also we have enabled the SD card, and we got selected the MCI1. So let's just for example, compile this file. I mean configuration. So let's erase the build. So let's get into this folder. So you will see that the build will be erased as we do make mr proper. Oh, and as you see, it disappeared. So let's now select the configuration for the SD1. Let's take a look again. The name is correct, so it is correct. Okay, so now let's type in okay, and now again type in make. And now you have the bootloader done in the binaries. So this is this file. So now again, let's get the SD card from our board, which is this one. Put it into the slot of the computer. So let's erase the previous AT91 bootloader and let's copy the one we just built, and let's take a look if the application does work. Okay, so I'm putting in the SD card into our slot, and now I'm connecting the debug port. So as you see, the program has a little bit of delay to start in, and that's because of the bootloader. So let's now take a look at the log what we got from the bootloader. Okay, so I got the port opened, and now I'm resetting the board, clearing the terminal window, and as you see, we got ROM boot. So this is the first whatever happens to the board. It boots from the content of the ROM, and then it loads the bootstrap. We got some information, okay, and as you see here, it loads the file softpack.bin to the begin address of the external RAM. And after that, it says it's done. And right here, it's the very beginning of the application, which you build it in the IAR embedded workbench. And that's the menu for the RTC, which I added to the program. Daytime printing and also the analog. So thanks for watching. If you got any questions, I will answer them in the comments below. You will have access to the files in the link in the description. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.